What if I told you that Ferrari is about to do something that could change the entire Formula One, but could also go horribly wrong? Because in Miami we are not going to see a simple improvement. We are going to see a completely transformed SF-26, lighter, more aggressive, and taken to the absolute limit of engineering. The question is simple, but brutal. Will this extreme weight reduction be the key for Ferrari to get back into the fight for victories? Or is it a desperate risk that could break the car from the inside? Stay until the end, because what Ferrari has prepared is not normal. Ferrari arrives at the Miami Grand Prix in a situation that admits no more excuses or more room for error, because what we have seen at the start of the season has left a very clear conclusion. The SF-26 is not where it should be. And this is the most striking thing of all, because on paper Ferrari does not have a bad car, quite the opposite. In fact, multiple analysts agree that the SF-26 is one of the most solid cars in terms of aerodynamic load, a car that can compete with anyone in curves, even be ahead in certain scenarios. But Formula One is not one only in curves, and that's where the real problem begins. On the straight, Ferrari is losing too much, and it is not a sensation. It is a reality that has been seen race after race, where the power unit is not at the level of Mercedes, and that leaves them completely exposed when the time comes to attack or defend position. This has generated a domino effect within the team, because when you can't compete at top speed, everything else becomes more complicated. The strategy is limited, overtaking is reduced, and the car begins to depend too much on perfect conditions to perform. And while Ferrari tries to understand what is going wrong, his rivals do not wait. Mercedes has started with brutal consistency, constantly adding podiums, showing a much more complete package. While McLaren is no longer a future threat, it is a present reality, capable of getting into the direct fight and surpassing Ferrari in race pace. This completely changes the scenario, because Ferrari is no longer just chasing one. It is being pressured on two fronts, and this is where the situation becomes critical. Within the team, the initial plan was clear: evolve the car progressively, understand each improvement, validate each change, follow a logical and controlled path throughout the season. A classic approach, a safe approach. But that plan no longer exists, because the context has completely destroyed it. The unexpected cancellations of Bahrain and Saudi Arabia generated something that Ferrari had not anticipated: entire weeks without racing, without weekend pressure, without the need to react in the moment. And instead of sticking to the original plan, they made a radical decision. Speed up everything. Advance developments. Joining pieces that were not intended to coexist so soon. And build the most aggressive package they've designed in years. This is not controlled evolution. This is a leap into the void. And at the center of all that change is an idea that redefines everything. Reduce weight. But not marginally, not with small adjustments, but with a completely different philosophy, where each component is reviewed, each gram questioned, each part optimized to the limit. Because Ferrari has understood something key. If they can't match Mercedes' power directly, so they must compensate for it in efficiency. A lighter car means better acceleration, better braking behavior, less degradation, and above all, more ability to compete in the areas where they are currently losing. But this strategy has a dark side, because taking a car to the minimum weight limit is not free. It involves commitments. It involves structural risks. It involves working on the edge of what is allowed, where any mistake can be costly. And that's exactly what Ferrari is willing to do. Because at this point in the season, doing nothing would be much worse. Ferrari has already made the decision, it has already broken its own plan, and now everything revolves around one thing: perfectly executing the most aggressive package they have designed in years. But this is where the story gets really interesting, because we are not talking about a simple weight reduction. We are talking about a complete reconstruction of the behavior of the SF-26. The core of all this change is in how Ferrari has decided to reinterpret the balance of the car. Traditionally, when a team looks for performance, it adds downforce, improves grip, optimizes flow, but that almost always comes with more drag, more weight, more complexity. Ferrari has gone in the opposite direction. They have decided to release the car, remove everything that is not absolutely essential, and that directly affects each critical area of the car. The first big impact is on overall efficiency. A lighter car not only accelerates better, it also completely changes the way it manages the tires, braking, and load transfer in fast corners. This means that the SF-26 could become much more reactive, livelier, harder to drive, but also much faster if everything works as expected. And here comes a key piece of this puzzle: the ground. In this new era of Formula One, the ground is everything. It is the main source of downforce, the heart of the car's performance. Ferrari knows it. And that is why, along with the weight reduction, they have redesigned this area to maximize each load point without penalizing straight-line efficiency. This creates an extremely dangerous combination for his rivals. Less weight, more efficiency, and an optimized floor. On paper, it's exactly what Ferrari needs to make up for its power deficit. But the problem is not in the paper. It is in reality. Because integrating so many changes at the same time is one of the biggest risks a team can take in the middle of the season. Normally, each update is tested, validated, understood. Not here. Here, Ferrari has decided to bring together multiple evolutions, many of them designed for different phases of the year, and make them work from the first moment on a demanding circuit like Miami. That means there is no room for adaptation. There is no time to correct. There is no safety net. Something fails, everything will fail. And this brings us to the most critical point of this act, the correlation. Because in modern Formula One, it is not enough for something to work in the wind tunnel or in simulation. It has to work on the track, under real conditions, with temperature, wear, traffic, and pressure. Ferrari is betting that everything they have developed in those weeks without races is going to fit perfectly from the first lap. And that is a huge bet. Because if they get it, we are not talking about a small improvement. We are talking about a leap that could put them fully into the fight for victories. But if not, the blow can be very hard, because they will have invested time, resources, and above all technical direction, in a path that may not give immediate results. And in such a tight championship, that pays dearly. So right now Ferrari is at the most delicate point of its entire season. They have bet everything on one card. A lighter car, more extreme, more difficult, but with brutal potential hidden within. The question is no longer whether they have been brave. The question is whether they have been too aggressive. And now we reach the point where everything is defined, where the theory disappears, and only the reality of the track remains. Miami is not just any circuit. It is a layout that exposes absolutely everything. Long straights where power rules, slow areas where the car must be precise, and constant changes of pace that punish any structural weakness. It is literally the perfect setting to test what Ferrari has done. And this is where SF-26 is much more at stake than a result. Your identity is at stake. Because if this lighter car works as Ferrari hopes, the change can be immediate. A car with less weight not only gains speed, it gains freedom. Freedom to attack on the straight, freedom to defend, freedom to manage the tires better, and above all, freedom to truly compete. Suddenly, that deficit they had against Mercedes could be reduced, and even disappear under certain conditions. And if that happens, the championship changes. Because Ferrari would not only return to the fight, it would break the current balance. It would put direct pressure on Mercedes, and it would force McLaren to respond at an even higher level. But there is another side to this story, and it's the one that no one on the team wants to face. What if it doesn't work? Because if the car loses stability, if the weight reduction compromises the balance, if the new package does not correlate with the track, so Ferrari will not only follow behind. I could take a step back, and that would be devastating. Because it would mean that all this movement, all this gambling, all this risk, it hasn't worked. And in that scenario, Miami would not be the start of the comeback. It would be the point where the season begins to slip away. That's why this weekend is so important. Because it's not just another race. It is a definitive test. A moment where Ferrari is going to discover if it has found the right path, or if you have crossed a dangerous line of no return. And the most shocking of all, there is no middle ground. Or it works, or it doesn't work. It's that simple. That's how brutal. And in the end, it all comes down to a single idea. Ferrari has decided to stop waiting. After a start to the season where potential did not translate into results, where Mercedes took the advantage, and where McLaren began to close their path, the team has chosen the most difficult path, but also the bravest. Break your own plan. Accelerate development. And push the SF-26 to a limit that very few teams would dare to explore. Extreme weight reduction is not just a technical improvement, it's a statement. A clear sign that Ferrari is not willing to settle. That it understands that in today's Formula One, standing still is losing, and that to win, you have to take risks. But these types of decisions always have a price. Because when you push a car to the limit, you also get closer to error. And in Miami, we are going to discover if Ferrari has found that perfect point between aggressiveness and control, or if it has gone too far. If they get it right, we could be at the beginning of a real comeback. A change in dynamics, a direct blow to the championship. If they fail, it will be a hard lesson, and a reminder that in Formula One, it is not enough to be brave. You have to be precise. So now the story is on pause, about to be resolved, with a lighter SF-26, more extreme and more unpredictable than ever. And with a question that defines everything. Is this Ferrari the weapon they needed? Or the risk that could cost them the season? Let me know in the comments what you think about all this.